Da, 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 dun, 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 dun. Daytime show. So this is a little bit of a look at the rest of this bank holiday weekend that remains, and I wish I'd started the video a little bit earlier than I have. Just check I'm recording, because it would be a shame to go on and on about it and then have nothing recorded. Or maybe you would think that was actually better. Maybe. I should have done it a little bit early, because some of the BBC's only remaining bank holiday programming aired just before this, because it's now towards tea time. And if we go to BBC One, it's nearly over, because tomorrow has virtually nothing. So it's just come out of showing the live action version of The Jungle Book, and it led into a Wallace and Gromit episode, which was A Matter of Loaf and Death, and earlier before that, and I'm just going to check the Sky Plus app, which actually this EPG guide here doesn't exactly give you much of a clue as to what to expect, does it? Given that it just has this generic description here, which says, the celebrations for the coronation continue with a spectacular evening of entertainment. It doesn't even use the word music in that, which is mainly what it's about, isn't it? So there's that, but of course this video is about Bank Holiday Monday, and we're well in time for that at least. So whilst they have a bit more of a holiday schedule for Sunday afternoon, it really does get extremely poor for this extra bank holiday. It is basically totally ignored by BBC One. This is the usual lineup of Monday programmes, which are the same on every weekday anyway. Including Country File, Spring Diaries. The only thing that they have here is that the news is shorter. So what difference does that actually make compared to Tuesday? Let's have a look. So Doctors starts at 1:45 when the news at lunchtime is longer as usual, and Country File, Spring Diaries is at 2:15. So these go back with Doctors starting at 1:30 and Country File, Spring Diaries starting at 2 o'clock. So I guess that means there must be something extra in there. The Bidding Room and Unbeatable. It actually takes quite a bit of effort to work out what the difference between these schedules are, because that looks exactly the same as Tuesday. I think, yeah, in fact, they're all the exact same programmes, and they fit into a slot that is slightly longer. So I'm trying to work that out live on this video. What's the difference? There's a difference in the length of them between Monday and Tuesday. But we'll spend too long on that. I think maybe Country File Spring Diaries is longer. Yeah, because 2:50 Escape to the Country, and oh my god. And then that's on at 2:45 there. But it's all exactly the same, and they've extended the length of one of the programmes. That's all they've done. And the only other difference is, and they're forced to do this anyways because the news is shorter, is that instead of the one show, we've now got a Eurovision documentary. So, I mean, that's the only thing in the entire day that actually has anything to do with the bank holiday or a different programme or whatever. Well, it has nothing to do with the bank holiday really, but and then it goes into a normal Monday schedule, but there's more Eurovision stuff at the moment. And in the north, we get the Super League show, which I guess I could compare, if it was easy enough to do so, what other regions get. Let's see. Yeah, so that means you're missing out on a repeat of Have I Got News For You in these other BBC One regions. So that really is appalling, though, and I don't understand why they're able to show films and Wallace and Gromit episodes and things on Sunday afternoons and then just sort of completely ignore bank holidays and show nothing. I don't know why that is a policy on the BBC at the moment. It must be making some people think that the TV licence fee is less value, surely, because they can't even put exciting programmes on it at sort of holiday times, which is kind of annoying. BBC Two still having Flog It, and I'll just have to look back through the rest of Sunday on a quick handy guide that I've got, which is the Sky Plus app on the phone, which Sky have told us that they're withdrawing. This is actually a really useful app, and they're taking it away. You can set recordings. The replacement is to use Sky Go instead, but that is a bit clunkier. So they had a film at 2:40, which I should have thought to do this a bit earlier, shouldn't I? I was actually sitting around only not doing that much before. It was a 1954 film called Carmen Jones, and Points of View and women's football was on earlier. So that is pretty standard for BBC Two on a Sunday anyway. And Yeah, that was quite interesting. This episode last week was about how they make vegan sausages. So I guess I was interested in that in some way because I am a vegetarian, but still like that sort of food. That's quite a good choice of film later on, a substantial film to show, isn't it? The Shawshank Redemption. So let's see if BBC Two is any better for the bank holiday tomorrow, our extra one. Um, well, I think other than showing the Coronation special of Bargain Hunt, it's pretty boring. They're going for, like most of the channels, exactly the same weekday schedule. So you've got the Nicky Campbell show is now simulcast from Radio 5 Live with an in-cam review. And this is even worse. This is on the BBC News channel as well. So that's like seeing cuts in action sort of thing. And then they just show BBC News. God, I'm yawning already at that. Actually simulcasting BBC News when everybody's got the channel now. It's just absolutely ridiculous, isn't it? And then they're going into these repeats of Impossible and Eggheads and some sport there, the badminton horse trials. None of this seems to be based on the bank holiday. Maybe these wouldn't be on if it wasn't an extra holiday Monday, I'm not sure. But this show, showing the British Sewing Bee there and Flog It up against Pointless is what's on weekdays. There's no differences hardly except for the sport. And just to check if the sport's different, I'll just check Tuesday. There you go. We've now got Eggheads at 2 o'clock instead because of this Super League show and showing Wonders of the Universe, which is quite a good idea, showing these afternoon documentaries actually. Makes BBC Two a little bit more interesting. But so that is the only difference with the holiday Monday then, but by the looks of it, is that badminton horse trials. Well, there is later on, because they don't have Newsnight. That causes another change in BBC Two's schedule. So we've got our usual University Challenge. Actually, that's an extended programme there. You'd normally get Mastermind, but it's finished, hasn't it? So that's a 1.5 Blue Planet 2. So I'm going to call that a bank holiday programme, because I think it is. I don't think it'd be there normally. Let's see what's there typically. Yeah, look what's on in that slot for the rest of the week. The Hairy Bikers Mediterranean Adventure, basically cooking and riding around on a motorbike to places they can cook or something like that. And then that. So yes, that's a bank holiday variation right there. And then so's this actually showing the film 1917. So it looks like they kind of do put a bit more effort in the on in the evening, and then have this attitude that everyone must be out or at work in the afternoon. Well, sometimes there's bad weather, sometimes there's this, I hate mentioning it, but the cost of living crisis, which could mean that the entertainment could do with being provided at home. So yeah, that's kind of a holiday thing, showing the recent film 1917 about the First World War, and then John Lennon, a documentary about 10 pictures, famous pictures to do with John Lennon, is there also in the slot that would otherwise be taken up by Newsnight. So that's actually a bank holiday schedule. And there's a repeat of the Liverpool sounds that was on Saturday night. So I guess BBC Two is doing more than BBC One, but BBC One is showing this Eurovision thing, and the Eurovision programmes are basically the only bank holiday variation, I would say. So ITV, as I've said on the previous video, always shows a film in the afternoon now, so that's good to see that effort. Everything else is the usual daytime shows, though, complete with This Morning. Yes, another little comment here is that ever since the demise of the Jeremy Kyle show, they've never actually had a replacement for a different show there. They've just extended the Lorraine show from GMTV originally, wasn't it? Good Morning Britain. It's now called, isn't it? And then they've just put This Morning back a bit, and they've basically got no replacement for what used to live in, for something to live in this sort of Jeremy Kyle slot. It's just an extra comment I'm making there. Used to be the time, the place, like a more serious debate, didn't it? So yeah, they've got a bit of a bank holiday effort showing Goosebumps there. And it just goes into this just puts forward the other quiz shows, and because of the shorter news, as of last Monday, you got the Chase being put on at 6:30 in the news slot. What would normally be the hour news slot, and then it is a regular Monday night then with the usual soaps and the I'm a Celebrity South Africa and the 1% Club late repeat. Channel 4, I would say, is nothing again, as you can see. Absolutely effing nothing at all. But the only thing that's different is the Miami Grand Prix highlights. I think literally in the whole day, except for the Channel 4 news being reduced, I think. So you can see that this is what's normally on in the morning, looking at Tuesday. Frasier getting repeated and going into those lifestyle and cooking programs that they have, into the live Steph show that I think is from Leeds. Apparently this has had very poor rating. I don't know how it's doing now, but will this show continue, I wonder, this live show every lunchtime? So all that is on as normal except for the sport highlights. The choice of film, well, there's no film actually. It's just countdown is now really early, isn't it? 2 o'clock, and it's just basically nothing is on different. Now Channel 4 news is reduced to half an hour from the hour slot it normally takes up, and then you've got the only extra program is something, you know, very lightweight, something with Kirsty and Phil there. Love it or list it. Nothing really special or interesting, just the usual lifestyle stuff. They do a lot that appeals to the middle class, like property and antiques on Channel 4, don't they now? Except for the few things that they do. Sarah Beanie's Life in the Country is very much like that sort of programme, like Grand Designs. Then going into this expose on Prince Andrew, or this documentary about how badly it's gone for Prince Andrew there, which started last Monday, and this is the second part of it. Going into first dates, which is very difficult for a lot of people these days, I can tell you. Channel 5, that can also be summarised in the same way. It is not, there's no bank holiday effort. So, Jerry Revine is on as normal, going into the sort of stuff that they normally show, Home and Away. Miss Willoughby Mysteries doesn't stand out from any of these other afternoon movies there, as you can see throughout the rest of the week. So that is pretty dull as ditchwater. It goes into a new series of traffic cops, which I'm round Cheshire, so it was quite interesting, the last one, because I think it was in Ellesmere Port, and that was filmed, so it's quite local to where I am, and now it's in North Yorkshire, the latest series. And then more cop stuff about catching people speeding and stuff like that. And then because it's owned by the same company that owns MTV, we get that. I haven't actually looked at Sunday for Channel 4 and 5. Is that any better? Nothing really stands out here. More list shows about music. Britain's favourite party hits, 70s greatest disco hits on Channel 5. Channel 4 looks to have a pretty unremarkable holiday Sunday night tonight, as you can see. Is this... no, that's not even a special episode of the Great Celebrity Bake Off, and a showing of Mrs. Doubtfire, which is... yeah. And then this the wheelchair rugby. I don't suppose it's even hardly worth opening the app up to see what was on earlier on Channel 4 and 5. Not really. An absolute big, massive block of Simpsons episodes, and Channel 5, that's Channel 4 that was, and then Channel 5 showing a big block of Friends, and a film called Open Range, a western from 2003, so still on actually. So no. Sky once again, you can see it's got quite a holiday schedule even today. Actually, I guess that wins tomorrow then, because they're making a bit of an effort, slightly. So that is, let's see. It is very football based though, I have to say. So it goes into more episodes of Modern Family and The Simpsons, which actually wouldn't normally be on weekdays, as proved by this, looking at Tuesday and Wednesday. And it goes into basically the live footy results. And there's not much on the BBC about that, strangely. They usually at least have the footy results in a highlight show, don't they? So that takes over Sky 1 there, and it goes into football's funniest moments. So it's completely football based for most of the afternoon, going into a programme about films from the noughties, which definitely wouldn't be on if that was a Tuesday or Wednesday, as you can see. I think they're struggling with the tea time slot at the moment, because they haven't got a really big show to show other than The Simpsons. They've been showing repeats of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I think they actually need something new here. It's a shame that the new Bel Air couldn't go there, actually. I wonder if there's too much adult stuff in it to go on at tea time, because they've been showing it later than tea time. So and there's a showing of a film rather than The Simpsons, which, as you can see, it would normally be. It's always been The Simpsons for years, and I could make a whole video about this, like so many have done, which I'm totally bored with the new episodes. But that is something that has been well explored on the internet. Spider-Man from 2002 is shown, and this other film as well, instead of stuff that they would normally show. So I'm going to at least say that they're making a bank holiday effort. And I think Gold do, but all they've done this time is show the royal family to fit in with the Coronation thing, and loads of Fools and Horses is on compared to their usual weekday schedules. So that only really leaves us with, is BBC Three doing and 4 doing anything? Is it even worth bothering to look at what they're doing? Because nothing really stands out, I don't think. I mean, I've looked at Tuesday and it looks about the same as Monday, almost. Except for this documentary that's, I mean, that would just premiere on a normal Monday night. It's quite interesting about the mental health crisis with young men. So I guess I'm probably going to watch that at some point. And a film showing at 10 o'clock. And you wouldn't normally get that on a normal weeknight, I suppose, on BBC 4. It seems to all be about. No, I thought it was actually a whole evening of David Attenborough. It nearly is, with the amount of time that's taking up. And that compared to tonight, yeah, there's not too much there really. There's a big film showing again tonight on BBC Three, and ITV2, they do make more of an effort for bank holidays as well. Well, they show films, so it's fair enough to say that. So let's just see if there's anything there. Yeah, there are films on. Not much use having that happen, but there are. You can see there are a few films amongst it. Don't know why I'm getting no listings available, but that's. I can tell you what that is anyway. It's Stuart Little 2. So I don't know why it's doing that. So they always do that. ITV3 is actually almost completely normal, which is great if you still want your classic Emmerdale and Corrie to be on, because they are. It's not a big block of carry-on films like it sometimes is. And ITV4 doesn't bother with any films as such this time. But it did last Monday for some reason. So I guess that's it. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty disappointing. But to summarise it, there's actually a bit more on in the evening. On the BBC channels, there's an afternoon film on ITV1, and there's a Eurovision documentary, and that's pretty much your lot for bank holiday programmes. I think that was quite symbolic then. We saw like a creature die and fall down the hill. That's what's happened to what used to be much better bank holiday schedules years ago, basically.